Hi, I'm Adam Rana. I've started service accommodation a year ago and I've grown my property business in service accommodation from 0 properties to 22 properties, netting per month net profit about £67,000.
Welcome everyone to the TED Talks YouTube channel. If you don't follow my podcast, go and follow it. I'm sitting next to a man called Adam Rana.
Yeah.
And you do service accommodation.
Yeah.
SA. So this video is going to be SA 101, so basics. We're going to talk about some advanced stuff in another video, but this I want to kind of show the people of YouTube, like what on earth is SA, how can they get into it, how much money they need, what the hell's going on. So tell me, what is SA? What does it mean?
SA stands for Service Apartment Service Accommodation. So a lot of people say apartments, actually service accommodation. And service accommodation is a home away from home. Simple as that. So if you want to stay in a hotel but you want a homely feel, you'll come and stay here with a bath, with a kitchen. A hotel has a bathroom as well, but a hotel kitchen, bathroom and a bedroom and a balcony, and like the one we're in right now. So yeah, home away from home and an advanced version of a hotel.
Okay, and it's something that is not necessarily new, but it's boomed recently, especially with property courses, because you don't need a lot of money to start.
Yeah.
You don't need experience, although life experience always helps. So, I'm Tej. I have got £4,000 in my bank account that I can spend on something. I want to do SA. What are the first things I should do?
So again, you're talking money dependent, right? So if you only had £4,000, you can do something called rent to SA. So it's like rent to rent. So you rent off someone else, and then you pay them a guaranteed rent, or you property manage it on someone else's asset.
Isn't that subletting?
It's not. Subletting is a very, very widely used word in the wrong terms when it's not needed, because we have permission from the landlord, from the leaseholder, and the mortgage lender. If you have the permission to sublet, technically it's not sublet because you're not renting, you are giving it to a guest. So they don't have tenancy rights. So that's one reason. The other reason that you have permission. So that answers the question, and it says that it's not subletting.
Okay. So you're saying with the £4,000, what would you do first then? So you do rent to rent?
Yeah, I started with £3,000 actually. So I use my examples to help others. If you had £4,000, you would look for a property which suits the needs of your end customer and your needs as a service accommodation, and you pay the rent, you pay the deposit, and then you spend the £2,000. So £1,000 deposit, £1,000 rent, and your £2,000 on your small items and to make it homely furnishings, but not necessarily. So this is where the trick is. If it might cost more than £4,000 if you're going to get the bed and the wardrobes and the big things. I started with £3,500, £3,000 give or take, because the bed was already there, because most apartments come furnished. So I went for the apartments version. So most apartments in the city where I'm in Birmingham, most of them come with a bed and a wardrobe, walk-in wardrobe, a built-in wardrobe, and a sofa. And the main big things that cost you a lot of money. So I only had to buy a TV and I had to buy the little furniture.
So £3,000 to £4,000 is enough to start?
Yeah, I would say so.
And when it comes to this rent-to-rent thing, how do I find a suitable property? Do I go on Rightmove? Or?
Simple answer, yeah, Rightmove, build relationship with estate agents. I found my first one through Gumtree and Open Rent, direct to landlords. So something called direct to landlords, that you're not cutting the estate agent out, but you're taking the middleman out and going direct to the landlord and saying, you got a property rent, this is the benefit I'm going to give you, because I'm going to keep your property in a pristine condition, and it's always weekly going to be cleaned, or whatever frequency you're going to use to clean it. And it's going to be better condition than you would give it to people who live for long term, because people usually don't take clean, as that's what people assume, that buy-to-lets are not usually kept in a condition to a service accommodation level. So use that as a benefit, advantage. Use Rightmove, Open Rent, Gumtree, and Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace is really
Facebook
good.
Marketplace is really good.
Okay, so it's fairly accessible. And then, I found some apartments. Oh wow, city centre, they look great. But are they? How do I know where? So, should I have it in the countryside for tourists? Should I have it in the city? What's your safest place to invest?
So, I always work with 80 to 90% confidence levels. There's always risk in every investment. That's why a lot of people, beginners, and even people have to understand that. There is always risk. So I work up to 80 to 90% my confidence level. So where do I get the confidence level from? So I get it from research. So research, just basic things like Airbnb. Go there, If you think, let's take a city centre. People usually start in a city centre area. So I'll take a city centre, I'll pick an area and look at the SAs or service apartments or Airbnbs in that area, right?
So what's already on the market?
What's already on the market, right? I see what's selling, how much is selling for, what's the nightly rate, and most importantly, what's their calendars like. So what you can do is go on future calendars and you can have a look what people, how many days are booked out. And when you see that, you say, okay, 20 days are booked out from 30 days, okay, so demand's high, right? Or less days are booked out. Trying to pick a month which is more like March, it's springtime, you know, not winter, not the extreme. So the winter is the extreme low, and the summer is the extreme high. So you're not gonna get the true answer. But that's one. Another thing is something called ADNA.
Yes.
Right. A lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know. So go on ADNA, might have to pay a subscription fee. I think your first one is free, and you can just put in the postcode and see what the demand is. So it tells you historical data. Literally,
which is useful, right?
It's what you want. That's your research,
okay,
right?
so your aim is de-risking.
Yeah. Going back to my point, bringing up the confidence levels. So every time I do this, I either bring the confidence levels up or bring it down. So I've had situations where my confidence level went down. I said, okay, this is not going to work. One important one a lot of people don't know, and it's really good for beginners, is hotels. There's a travel lodge next to you, or a Hilton next to you, or say it's not a competition. It's actually a good thing because they've invested a lot of money into doing research to build that multi-billion-pound real estate with thousands of rooms, right? So there must be a reason they've done it, because they have a 20-year plan, 30-year plan, and they're a big chain. So there's some, you can get hotel finding reports for your area and see what research they've done, and you can use that research and just literally, it's the same market, right? You're targeting the same people. So look for nearby hotels.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've called up agents. We're calling agents.
Yeah.
What are we telling them? So direct to vendor is fine. We'll go to that in a different video. But when you call an agent, who are you?
First of all, yes, you can call an agent, but it's better to find a property and go in to see the agent, because it's all about building relationships. So I have tried calling agents. Agents get these calls all the time, right? So as a beginner, I would say pick a property that you think will work. Do some of the background research that we just talked about 2 seconds ago, and go in and say, this is the property I want to view, and tell them about your business. This is our business that we're doing. Where we have trying to build. Ideally, I think you want to try and build customers, the guest before, like you can get contractors, and this is something we can talk about later on. But you want to go in there and say, we do corporate letting. We have corporate guests, which you want to trying to get beforehand, and essentially, that's what we do. We house corporate guests, contractors, builders, which stay for short term but long term. So they'll stay for example, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but you can't get an ASD for that, so they want to stay in our places, and that's the market we cater for. There's a gap in the market that they want to stay in a home for 4 weeks, not in a hotel. So you're basically saying this is the gap of the market I'm filling.
Fine. What performs better in your experience, if you have it in this, houses or apartments?
I have actually a 70-30, 70% apartments and 30% houses. Depends on the area.
Okay.
And the demand. So a lot of contractors, builders, construction workers prefer houses, because you can put it's like a house, and they just want their own, a lot of parking as well. So you get a lot of parking from a house, usually a driveway, and then you get on-street parking as well. So again, depends on the area. Countryside, right? So outside on the outskirts of Birmingham, I do actually have a house which is it's an owned house by me, and it does okay. It does quite well actually, because the mortgage is low and I get a good return. So, and it's for families. So a lot of have people with kids.
Fine.
So it just depends what type. If you're targeting a tourist market, possibly a house, because you get garden in the back.
Yeah.
People do barbecues in the summer. So
okay, so it depends on the area
and the demand.
I think common sense applies too.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Okay, so call the agent. We're in. We're doing the sort of agreement. What do you negotiate? Okay, let's say a property's on the market for, easy maths, £1,000 a month. What do you how do you work out what you can pay the landlord?
In terms of so there's guaranteed rent. So we offer guaranteed rent. So we've spoken to the estate agent. How do we work out what we can pay? So we try to go by the market price. So
you pay what it's on the market for.
Yeah. I do my numbers. So right. So if I look at start for the market price, because you got to think what's in it for them. So why would they give it to you if this is a nice apartment that we're sitting in? Why would this landlord, if you're because I'm a landlord myself, right? Why would I give it to you when I can give this away to anyone else a normal office worker for the same price. So
Yeah.
you got to think what's in it for them. Then you got to work out if it's in high demand. Then you got to start a marketplace. I've taken apartments on the same as marketplace, or sometimes offered £20 higher. This is interesting. It's a psychological effect. Like you said, I'll pay you £830 instead of 800. They'll be like, okay, I'll give it to you. But because my numbers are saying I'm going to make £700 profit, 700 minus 30. It's not a lot of money. You're still making a lot of money.
Really, you're working backwards. You're working
reverse
back from
engineering.
what can I make?
Yeah.
What is the turnover? What's the profit?
Yeah.
What's left to pay the landlord?
Yeah.
To also be fair to them.
Yeah, you have to
and to entice them, right?
It's very important because you don't want to go if they're offering for 800 and you say I'll give you 750, and then they're gonna have it's a long-term relationship. So remember that, because things break down. So you still want them to service the boiler, still want them to respond to you.
Yeah.
You don't want them to use that as a leverage and say, oh, I've got it at £50 lower. You should be doing this because you're supposed to be.
And which will happen.
Yeah, it has happened to me. I've had the good and the bad. So when I pay the market price, he's just been happy. But there is an advantage of paying the market price, because in 3 years, that's not the market price. Work this one out. So rents are going up at what, 2% or something? I don't know the exact number, right? In 2.5 years, you're paying 800. The rest of the next door neighbors are going for 900, 950. So you're winning if you did the total annualized, the payout. You're actually winning overall. So that's why I pay market price, because I look at the property and I look at the numbers and reverse engineer it.
Fine. So we've got the property, blah, blah, blah. Obviously there's lots of steps here, but we're trying to give you a pure introduction. You've got the property and it's unfurnished. We're not going to go through every item, but when it comes to furnishing, let's speak about cost versus quality. Like really briefly, what is your, how cheap do you go and how much quality do you want? Like, what's your balance?
So I go for the mid-range towards the high of the mid-range quality. I went for as a beginner, I went for the lower quality, and things broke down because it's a higher usage. Just keep that in mind. People will use this like a hotel. So hotels actually go for, even travel lodge go for a decent quality which lasts longer. So durability. Yeah. So you gotta remember there's gotta be durability. So we use this sofa that we're sitting on as an example. I used to buy sofas which were called click and clack, and I would not recommend anyone buying them because they will break.
They're super cheap as well.
They're super cheap. Look okay, look good actually.
Look nice,
but they will break after 6 to 8 months because of the usage people use. It's just because they're not made for high usage. So I'll go for mid-high range, and in terms of.
So I guess it's that thing where buy cheap, buy twice.
It's the same theory.
Because it's so high use, like a HMO. Yeah. You have to kind of bulletproof your investment and not take the cheaper option, although you want to. Yeah. Cool. We've got a property. We furnished it. Where do you list it?
So I would list it, of course, I would say Airbnb and Booking.com is very important to list on there. So I would start with that. I would start with direct bookings as well. So I would start marketing. So I'll start have your website before you even start advertising. So get your website, get your social media, get an Instagram page, get a Facebook page for your business, and simultaneously Airbnb and Booking.com. Direct bookings are really important. At the same time, Airbnb is important as well, because Airbnb do that marketing for you that you're going to go do now. They invest millions into marketing, right? So leverage them to get a lot of bookings. We get a lot of bookings from them, but we get a lot of direct bookings as well. So then you get a choice what to pick, which ones you want, So
Fine.
So Airbnb, Booking.com, other platforms as well, Home and Away, Expedia, but direct bookings.
And how do you, when you've got your essay on all these platforms, is there one central calendar that keeps everything in check? Like, how do you manage this?
Yeah, so there's something called a channel manager. It's just, so you imagine in the central, and then you got your Airbnb, you got your Expedia.
Everything plugs into
and everything feeds into it real time. So make sure you get your channel manager, get a good one, do your research first. Pricing is important because a lot of channel managers are expensive, but there are cheap channel managers, but make sure their technology is good. So they're syncing, because you cannot, it's something called double bookings, because you don't want two people booking at the same time for the same apartment, right?
Yep.
So the channel manager stops that, simple as that. Stops that, and you can see everything in a central position.
Which one do you use?
I use Tokeith, only because it gives the right balance of cost versus quality. So it gives me what I need, and the cost is cheaper than compared to other ones. But do your own due diligence, do your own research, what works for you. I wouldn't say you don't need a channel manager until you have one property, more than one property.
Fine.
Yeah.
And so
you can usually sync calendars between Booking.com and Airbnb within one property. So it's
fine. So then once you have this Airbnb and it's running, we're getting bookings, Am I checking everyone in face to face? Am I having a lockbox? How are they getting in and out?
So you can systemize. So systemization and processes are very important. So you can systemize something called a key nest where you can keynest.com. So if you go check that out, keynest.com is where it's a RFID tagged key. So when people can pick up a key from a nearby location, you will get an email that's been picked up. They can check in, having your processes in place. So you send check-in instructions, and then they stay there, and then you send them checkout instructions, how to go, where to go, put the keys back, and then they go put the keys back. That's called a self check-in for the guest. I would say, as a first one, as a beginner, do meet and greet. That's how my business has been able to scale to 22 properties in 1 year. It's because I did a lot of meet and greets. What that allowed me to do is learn what the customer wants, what they don't like and what they do like, and what I can use that to get more properties or get more customers. And you build a relationship with them that if they want to come again, that brings you a direct booking that we talked about earlier.
Spot on.
Because they can stay with you next week or the week after.
So, I think we've covered a very top broad level of what the hell SA is, how to do it, the kind of process on a top level. What we're going to do on our next video is go into detail on some of these aspects we mentioned. So we hope this has been a useful video for you. Please like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow us on Instagram, tej.talks, and
Adam R777 is my Instagram tag.
amazing. See you on the next video.
Thank you guys.